ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Safa's Unscripted. We come here quite annoyed, disappointed for many, many different reasons. But first of all, welcome back, guys. Please, this pod is about to get heated, so please get your popcorn ready. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because this is gonna either really make you happy or you're gonna agree with us a lot. So.
If you're not a South African, you'll be happy. If you're a South African, you might be annoyed.
Yeah, but we're here for the banter, so bring it. Load it our way. We're waiting. But, ladies and gents, it has been a weekend of terrible, terrible rugby for South Africans, unless you are a Lions fan. But we're going to get straight into the heat of things, and we're just going to bring up the Bulls. They lost to Munster at home in Loftus, 27 points to 22. Now, look, obviously, I'm just going to quickly go because this is my team and I'm going to give out my thoughts. Well, actually, let you guys go first because I think I've been talking for a bit too long. So, you guys.
Before anybody goes first, please just remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'll go first with the Bulls. Okay, because I've got something I need to bring. So, I didn't watch the game with the sound on. Okay, so obviously I don't know what the commentators said about the tackles and stuff. I'll let you guys talk about the tackle. But I've got something to say about Jake White. If you come out and say, listen, you're going to throw away the Champions Cup and you're going to rest your players because you're going to focus on the URC and you're being called up to step up to the plate, you better step up to the plate. Because now everyone's made excuses for you. Like even myself, I've gone on other social media platforms and I've defended Jake White and said, listen, the travel is ridiculous. He's done a good job. And now you actually have to go out and put out a statement performance against competitors for the championship. Like this was a massive game because obviously Munster will be up there. The Bulls will be up there. They've got a big chance in meeting in the semi-final or the final, whatever you want to call it. You're playing at home with your boys rested and you go out and lose that game. It is ridiculous. Now, I know you win some, you lose some, right? But this wasn't a normal situation game. This was where Jake and the Bulls really had to step up and defend the decisions that they made. And I think it was an utter embarrassment almost to go out and lose that game then. Like, even if they scraped by, they shouldn't have scraped by. We said this has to be a statement performance because Munster literally just traveled there. They had no break, nothing. The Bulls had everything in their favor at altitude. It's a fortress at Loftus. We always say the Bulls don't lose at Loftus. You've got the whole storyline. You go ahead and lose. That is utterly, utterly, utterly embarrassing.
I'm on a different wavelength to you two. I know exactly. I suspect I know what Breven's going to say, but I'm on a different wavelength. Remember, in our build-up to this episode, in our prediction video, I said that if there's a team that travels well, it's Munster. And when they come to South Africa, they know how to beat South African sides in South Africa. I mean, they did it in the URC final. Also, traveling 2 days before the final, they traveled and they beat the Stormers. I warned everyone that this Munster side is coming to play. And Jake White took it with a little pinch of salt and thought, oh, boo-hoo, whatever. We don't lose at Loftus. And exactly the opposite happened. Yes, there was a red card in the game, but that was irrelevant because before the red card, the Bulls were still playing shit rugby. So it doesn't matter to me what happened in that game. It's just I think that the Bulls took this game too lightly and thought Munster's going to struggle at altitude. And that's all I have to say for now. I think it could get heated when this man takes the stage. So the floor is yours.
Look, I think people are actually going to be surprised here because watching that game, obviously, first time, obviously, in the heat of the moment, your emotions are high. I had a lot of concerns with the ref at that moment in time. But now I thought, let's take a mature approach to this. You don't need to explode. I kind of did a little bit on the group. I had a few comments. And at first I was like, this ref is ridiculous. And that's your average Safa reaction. But I took time afterwards to just think about it, look at the way the game played out, look at the calls that were made. And Munster, well flippin' done. You are in a position now that you deserve. And we are in a position now that we deserve. Because I'm sick and tired, well, currently, of not just the Bulls, but South African teams just throwing this away. Like, this means something to the country, whether it's our franchise rugby or not. It means something to us to have a home quarterfinal, to have a home semi-final. Because you know what? That's when we are really going to support you. Yes, we should be supporting you throughout the season, and we try our best. But when we really want it, when we really get down, is when it's playoff time. We've seen the Stormers able to fill stadiums, massive stadiums when it comes to playoffs. Bulls as well. And this is the performance they produce. I completely agree with you, Brett. The performance was spineless again. I looked at some of those things in the first half where we are in danger and we're throwing the ball and offloading in our 22, knocking on in our 22. It is shameless. I genuinely, I don't know where that Bulls performance came from, because I know they are capable of so much better. And Munster just knowing how to just play against the Bulls at Loftus and doing it while we look there and like we don't know what to do. So Munster, fair play. The only thing I'm going to say here, and I'm getting quite sick of this as well, and this is when we turn to the ref. I'm not saying this is the reason we lost. We would have lost if there were 15 men on that field. I personally believe that. But I'm just annoyed at the fact that if we look back at the Leinster tackle in Dublin, right, when we played Leinster, obviously we scored the try, but that was a yellow card. Cool, whatever. I thought it was a red at the time. Cool, whatever. The Bulls do a similar thing with less force. Look, it can still be classified as a red. Give him a red. But where's the consistency to South African teams in that instant? Like, I don't understand where the consistency is. It's almost like it's disappeared. Because whenever a Safa does something, it's seen as 10 times more aggressive because we're South Africans. But yeah, it's just that's my opinion on it.
I actually disagree with you in terms of that didn't cost you the game. I think that cost you the game because the momentum totally swung before that. You had the Munster defending for their lives at that point. You were in the lead. That would have been an extra try that you scored there. Obviously, if it wasn't foul play. Yeah, fair play, it was foul play. I thought it was a yellow all day long, never a red. I thought it wasn't, maybe it was a hard collision, but it wasn't like head on head. It was like his jaw, his mouth.
But the thing is,
give him a little up that. Compared to what they did to Curtly Orense, where they nearly killed the guy for a yellow card, at least give him a yellow card for a bunker review or some shit. That was a disgraceful decision. I was sitting at the bar, and we are Stormers fans. We hate the Bulls. Everyone knows the Stormers, we don't like the Bulls. And we were like, what did we just watch? That was a disgraceful decision. So I completely disagree with you in terms of that you wouldn't have won the game. I thought you guys were absolutely outstanding up until that point in that period of time in the second half, and that totally switched momentum again. And Munster just literally feeded on the extra player that they had on the field, because it doesn't just affect your defense, it affects your attack as well. You can't generate the overlap when you have a player less than everyone else. Like, you think about it just out of the defensive perspective, but then all of a sudden your momentum is stunned, you're gone. And I think they went on to score a try from that went back. They went and scored. Remember, you scored the try, they got the penalty for it, and then they went on to score. So I think it was a disgraceful decision in comparison to what we saw just earlier. And that is where I agree with you in terms of consistency.
That's what I just don't understand, is why the consistency is so different when it comes to the South Africans. And people can say you're moaning. I just said, I personally believe, as the Bulls fan, Munster played the better rugby. So, like, fair play. You guys, in my opinion, deserve the win. And I'm not saying we lost because of the referee. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to those calls, the consistency needs to change. It needs to be the same for every single. Like, the two are just day and night different. I mean, like, the Bulls one is 10 times more softer. But anyway, we'll leave that. And at the end of the day, I think the Bulls need to get their acting together, because moving on, we're playing the team now next that did this to the Stormers. Again, we're going to go off again, I'm sure, especially these two. The Ospreys beat the Stormers 27 points to 21 in Cape Town after we all said this is going to be comfortable and should have been comfortable. But now I'm going to let Brett go first here and then Casual. Let's get going.
Yeah, so sorry for the viewers. These two really love the sound of their own voices. So this is Brett. This is how my voice sounds. So yeah, just quick one. I got a 2 cents to add to the Bulls game before I hop onto the Stormers game. I do, however, feel that the loss to the Saints also it's dropping their team morale, and I think that it actually lived into their game against Munster, because I only watched the highlights. I didn't watch the live game, so I feel like that there's something's wrong at the Bulls. I feel the same way about the Stormers, but something is wrong at the Bulls. There's not that willingness to want to win. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it at this moment.
Complacency.
But, yeah, yes, but it feels weird. But I feel the exact same way about the Stormers. Yeah. So that's just my concern on the Bulls game.
Okay,
Take us into the Stormers game.
Yeah, take us to the Stormers. Head right into it.
Yeah, I just wanted somebody else to talk over me quickly, so
Fine,
it doesn't.
I'll go. I'll go.
Let off your
This is the moment that I've been waiting
That's not what
for.
I meant. That's not what I meant. What I meant was one person talks for 20 minutes and another two just sit there. So I wanted somebody to at least acknowledge what I just said, and then I'll carry on.
Brett, we acknowledge you. You can.
Okay, thank you. So now going on to the Stormers game. Plus poor team selection. I mean, there's no need to rest players. No need to start a team that shouldn't have been on the field. Like, I still am not hooked on Wandisile Similani yet. Not this close to the end of the competition. I was very confused with the team selection going into this game. It blew my mind how shit everyone played. Bar Ivan Ruiz and bar Dan du Plessis. Those two stood up and they wanted to win that game. But everybody else was absolutely dog shit. I mean, France Malabra giving away scrum penalties like that. I mean, come on. I cannot believe what I was watching when I watched that game. And I tried to stay as calm as possible, because the people in the house that I live in say that when the Stormers lose, I become the grumpiest, biggest asshole in the world, and I try to stay as composed as I was. And I think yesterday my hair went 60 shades redder from that game. That just frustrated the shit out of me.
Brett, I fully agree with you. Okay, this loss is not just on the players; it's on Dobson as well. That was a shocking team that we put out there. How can you go up and play against the Ospreys, right? Now, the Ospreys, they aren't the best team. Okay, not the worst team. But when you are chasing the pack, because you struggle throughout the whole league, you have to make up points. You need to get bonus point victories, where we speak about every point being crucial or vital or whatever. And you have the Ospreys also in the top 8 chasing for your position. You have to put out a statement performance. And what do when we know we have to put out a statement performance? We put out Brock Harris, Skaran Tubeni, and Ungerer. I never want to see Ungerer on the field again. Okay? I am. It blows my mind. The guy is so bad. I've never seen him play a good game. And you know what fueled me? Absolutely riled me up. Okay? I know I'm getting ready. I don't even care. I need to get this out. When we were at the end of the game and we playing against the Ospreys at home, I hear us cheer for a penalty try because we're getting a losing bonus point, and I see smiles on the field. Like, where's your pride? Where's your pride? Why do we feel more embarrassed than you feel on the field? You're the one that did the job, did a shit job, and we feel more embarrassed about it than you. Like, I know, obviously, like, we take this all with a grain of salt, and we have some fun, we banter around, and we open ourselves up to criticism and a bit of banter and whatever, because that's what we would give, right? But we also go out there and we defend you with everything. What was that? What that was like a disrespectful performance from the Stormers. I was watching that and I was thinking that is an utterly spineless performance, as you said, Ben. Well, I'll give it some space real quick and let Brevan go before I blow a toot, because I have a lot of other stuff to say as well. But Brevan, just tell us what you thought about it.
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, it's very disappointing. Of course it is. I don't feel it. Obviously, I had my own feeling in my own game, but I don't have it's a different feeling for you guys, I'm sure, as well. Well, it's the same but different. So obviously, I don't feel the anger you feel towards the Stormers, same as you don't feel the anger that I feel towards the Bulls. But I think what I'm going to do is just to shed some light, some positivity on this matter. I'm going to just talk about Ivan Rus. Dude, you're killing it. Like, you are absolutely killing it. You're rocking. You are knocking on Rassi's door. Sorry, not rocking on Dassi's door. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, you are knocking on Rassi's door. You are proving that you are Springbok quality, and yeah, I'm so happy for the guy. I really think he's really trying in that team, no matter how much they let him down at times. And Dan du Plessis as well, also showing that he really wants that Springbok jersey. And credit to those two for really going out there, getting stuck in, and trying to salvage something. You know, that try, it was a great try that even Rose scored. I mean, that interplay was just like I really liked it. But just overall, just not good enough. You Stormers should be beating Ospreys at home, and it's disappointing to see because you guys are the standard to meet in South Africa at the moment in our franchises, because you guys are the champions. Or sorry, you won the first season we were here. You won the championship, the URC. You went to another final the following year, so that is the standard. And it's just not good enough. It's really, like you said, it's not good enough. But
Brevin,
yeah.
it's not just not good enough. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. I can't think of other words because there was no pride showed yesterday. Brett, I want to ask you, right? Because this has been tickling my brain a bit. I know we love Mani. Okay, I'm not blaming this game on Mani. Don't think about that. Okay, but he struggled yesterday. He had a bad game yesterday. Why are we so naive? Why didn't John Dobson say, listen, Mani, I know, okay, this game isn't working for you. We're going to sub you. Why are we so scared to take off our big players? We saw Ungerer was dog shit, okay, and we saw Mani Libbok was dog shit. That is when the decision has to be made. Listen, we're bringing on Paul de Vet at 40 minutes and we're bringing on Damian Willemse to slot into that 10 jersey on 40 minutes. Because this thing where it's like, we're just going to play them because that's the big name player instead of subbing them is blowing my mind. That is ridiculous and it is stupid and is naive. Brett, would you agree?
I do agree, and I'll tell you why it made it even worse for me, because when Mani Libbok gave that cross kick, when it wasn't on, we were too flat. They were also coming up into the line. So I could see it a mile away. He's going to kick it into their wing's hand and he's going to run. I saw that coming in. How did he not see it? I mean, cross kickers like his forte. It's what he does. But what I was suspecting when I was watching them, I thought the reason that Damian Willemse is not on the field yet, I thought maybe he was not meant to ever go onto the field. And he was only on the bench for a let's rescue the situation at the end. Because why would you only play him with 11 minutes to go? That didn't make sense to me. Like, I couldn't pinpoint it until I actually thought about it. Like, why was he on the bench? Yes, to try and save the game. But to give a guy like that 11 minutes to save the game, that's not going to help. He should have, I agree with you, 45 minutes, 50 minutes in, put the oak on, and I think it would have made a massive difference.
Yeah, it's pure naivety. That just told me, like, some of these guys are way too complacent. The coaches, that felt like favoritism. Like, if a guy is shit, any normal coach, and I love Dobbo, okay, but any normal coach would have just taken him off the field. Because if you struggle like that and you can't do anything right, you don't just go out there and hope for a miracle. You try and rectify the situation, especially when you're that far behind and we're chasing the game in a big game like this. Because now we lost our points there, and now we have to go and play Leinster. Now, I know Leinster lost to the Lions, and we'll get into that soon. But it felt like an utterly embarrassing performance. And then I made a video on another platform that popped a bit, and the people in the comment sections are like, oh, you win some, you lose some. Set some standards for yourself. Like, seriously. I mean, You can say you win some, you lose some when you play against the All Blacks. The Springboks play against the All Blacks. You don't lose against Italy, the bad Italy team that we always know, or Wales, when you're South Africa, and then you say you win some, you lose some. Because that is shocking. That is embarrassing. Yeah. You say you win some, you lose some against teams that you can put on your level or that are better than you. Not to teams that are shit compared to you. Anyway, I'm done with this. We can move on to the next one, where I can calm down and actually give some teams praise.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we literally are just three people that really care about our teams, And to be honest with you, I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same as us because, like we always tell people from overseas and whatever, we tell them like we are passionate, we can be a bit salty at times, we can be these annoying people on social media, but it's just because of how much we care about the teams within our country, and that's how much we care about the Springboks as well, that we will always defend them to the max. But sometimes we will have a look at our teams themselves and say, you know what, this isn't right. But we'll move on to some more. Well, I think we'll leave the positive one for last. But I think not Stormers, Sharks versus Glasgow. Again, another loss. I felt like team selection just wasn't there again. Lack of experience, possibly. And Sharks falling short. Yes, it is a tough travel. I understand. It's a very tough travel. Currently, Glasgow second on the log, going well this season. But just let's look at Plumtree here. Why that selection? I don't understand. Do you guys have any light to share on that, Brett?
I do know why, because they obviously still have a chance in the Challenge Cup, and injuries this late in the season could cost them their momentum in the Challenge Cup. So I did understand why they didn't take a stronger side, but for me, when you're playing for pride, I felt that one or two changes in that weakened side, one or two changes could have made a difference, because Glasgow was not great.
You saw what the bench did.
Sorry?
Yeah, I agree. Like, you saw what the bench did when they came on.
Yeah, so I think that Glasgow definitely, the Sharks definitely could have won this game and still got away scot-free when it comes to the injury front. So I do think that not a lot of changes, just maybe like 4 or 5 changes would have made the difference, and the Sharks could have pulled it off. And we all predicted, well, Casual Bias and I predicted that the Sharks could win it until we saw the starting lineup, and we're like, oh shit, we already posted the episode. So yeah, I do think the Sharks could have taken it and got off scot-free.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think the team selection was also just shocking embarrassment. Like, your team's already travelled for the Challenge Cup. They're already there. Glasgow's a tough team. The team that they put out there felt like...
They played at Kings Park. They played at Kings Park against Edinburgh.
Did they?
They did.
Yeah, okay, my bad. But the team that they put out there just felt like, okay, we're gonna roll over for them. That's what that team that they put out there felt like. Because obviously next weekend they're playing against Scarlets there, and then they travel back. They could have easily put out their strong team to play against Glasgow, and then put out a weakened side. That I would have done 5 changes then against Scarlets. You don't put out a team of, how many changes was it? Like 13? 11. That is crazy. Like, what do we think this is? Do you think this is the Curry Cup? Like, especially when there's so much heat on the South African teams at the moment in terms of playing weakened sides. You don't go out and put a weakened side out against a team that's second in the table. Like, what are you doing? Like, that just doesn't make life any easier for the South Africans. It's tough to defend you when you keep on doing dumb shit like that. Anyway, I think they put up a good performance in the second half. They really had Glasgow defending at certain points, and you can see the momentum for the Sharks. It's growing. They're playing a bit better. I think next season they'll be back to kind of normality again, especially getting in Andre Esterhuizen and a couple of other big names. But you can really see when they start flowing, they can put a lot of pressure on teams. They didn't make life easy for Glasgow. Some mistakes at the start of the game, I was like, wow, what am I actually watching? How are you a professional rugby player? But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Well done to Glasgow for getting the victory, but I'm also going to give some credit to the Sharks for their second half performance. So yeah.
Okay, boys, anything else we want to add on that game, or are we ready to talk about the pride of South Africa at the moment? So the Lions, yes, but we understand Leinster obviously sent a weakened side, and that's their decision. But the Lions could only play what was in front of them, and I did predict the win here for the Lions. I can't even remember your guys' predictions. I do apologize, but the Lions beat Leinster 44 points to 12. And like I said, you can only play what's in front of you. And yes, it was a weakened side, but I've also seen a lot of Irish reaction to this game in the sense of they are so happy that the Lions did well, but they're also looking at Leinster themselves. They're not saying, "Oh, we played a weakened side." They were actually quite embarrassed by that Leinster performance because they felt that they could give so much more. I'm not talking about this. I have seen the other opinion as well, but I have seen some people give credit to the Lions, which fair play. Thank you for that because we appreciate some praise this weekend for some of the South African teams. But Lions could only play what was in front of them, and well done. You showed up on the day, and you are now in the run for a playoff position, and that's all the Lions really wanted. So congrats, Lions, and that is awesome to see. But Brett, let me know what your thoughts on that game were.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy for the Lions. I do, however, feel that was a terrible Leinster performance. The Lions, they came out all guns blazing. They knew they had to, because we all know that the Lions, that Leinster is still a system team. So whoever slots in knows exactly what to do at what point of the game. So they're a bunch of robots, and these robots weren't switched on when they played against the Lions. So credit to them, but we obviously follow the different side of Irish fans, because
No, I was reading on another social media platform, not even the one we all post on, but I was looking on the comments and I was like, wow, this is a bit more of a positive. But as we all know, different platforms can give different opinions. Carry on with what you were saying.
That's rare, because I saw a video of somebody posting a big, massive crowd going crazy and saying South Africa going crazy for Leinster's B team losing. Then I saw other people saying that Lions should be embarrassed. They should have beat Leinster's C team by more, and all this nonsense. So some Irish fans not on the same level of thinking, which is quite annoying. But
Shame, they were kids, man. Like, the kids are happy their team won. I'm sure there were a few adults maybe, but that's what the Lions. I've been to Ellis Park, and we know they let the kids run onto the field straight away. So let the kids have their fun, man. You can't banter kids, for goodness sake. But Casual. Sorry, what are you saying on this game?
I think all credit has to go to the Lions for that victory, because obviously we knew Leinster's not going to play their strongest team. They're not going to put out their strongest team on the field, but we still predicted a close game. Either way, I didn't think it's going to be more than 5 points each way, and to put 44 points and only concede 12 points, that is a good performance from the Lions. That is a statement performance. Now, obviously, it's not the strongest Leinster squad, and they wouldn't beat the strongest Leinster squad, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for Leinster and say, oh, it's only because you put out a B team. So what? The Stormers didn't put out a A team, and I'm very angry at that. So if I was still a Leinster supporter, I would still be very, very disappointed with that one, because that is a hammering you received. That's literally, it feels the same as just rolling over for a team. So I'm putting all credit to the Lions for still going out there and putting up a solid performance, because now, all of a sudden, they're still in 11th, but they are 1 point behind the Stormers, who's sitting in 6th, who's playing, that we just mentioned, going for home playoff games. That should tell you the whole story about how close it is. And that's what that adds to why I'm so angry about the Stormers, because we talk about the Lions being hot and cold, and that's why they're down at the bottom. Well, look at where they are now after 1 week. That's why every single point matters. If we didn't get that losing bonus point at the end, we would have been down there as well, because then we would have been on 39 points as well. And the Lions has got a much better points difference than us, which means we would have been 11th. That is shocking.
Yeah, that's crazy to think of. But that wraps up the South African part of it. I'm just going to briefly go through, and if you want to add anything, please stop me and let me know if you want to add anything on these games. But obviously we will pay respect to the other teams as well, give them a mention of how they went. Ulster beating Cardiff 19 points to 17. Obviously that helps.
Kick at the day. because
Yeah,
were
so
in the lead the whole game.
yeah, so that really helps Ulster because otherwise that would have really sunk their confidence, I'm sure.
The game
Benetton, y- sorry,
that's the game I called a draw.
you
And
did, and it was
was
nearly there, nearly there. Your
very
draws,
close.
one of them are going to land, and then we're all going to look at you like, you goat. Anyway,
Yeah.
then Benetton smashing the Dragons, 36 points to 19. We did all call this, so no shock there. Yeah.
Only shock is that the
Edinburgh.
Dragons somehow got 19 points. I didn't watch the game, but I don't know how Dragons get 19 points.
I'm just sure the Benetton side was a bit open, than more, just more attacking than usual. But Edinburgh also smashing the Scarlets, 43 points to 18. We did again predict this would happen as well. And
But
then
that was all in the second half. Scarlets were in a massive lead. I think they were ahead like 18-5 or some shit. And then all of a sudden in the second half just got blown away.
Yeah, but it took a South African in Duan van der Merwe to get angry to score some bloody good tries there.
You
That
see,
man
now that is what I expected the Stormers to come out and do in the second half. Like, they saw, listen, we can't afford to lose to the Scarlets. Look at that. That's a statement performance there in that second half. That's like, okay, listen, we're not going to roll over for these twats. Let's actually go out there and give our home fans, because they played at home, something to cheer about. Because, I mean, that would have been embarrassing losing against the Scarlets. Obviously, we didn't lose against the Scarlets. But still, you get my point. Why couldn't the Stormers do that? Where was the pride? Nowhere.
yeah.
I'm not going back to that, but yeah.
Yeah, just to like simply add a little bit on that, I completely agree in the sense that when the Bulls came out in the second half, I was like, these guys will show something, and the same I thought with the Stormers as well. They'll show something, they'll come back. And straight away, a guy who's been one of our best players this season in Embros Papier kicks the ball out straight out on the Fulls as soon as halftime comes, as soon as it was the second half. I was like, how can you start the second half like that? But anyway, I think that's something that both teams need to work on, is responding to negative results in the first half and replying with a positive. I mean, the Springboks do it so well. We need to breed it in our franchise teams as well. But anyway, last game of the whole round, Connacht absolutely smashed Zebre, and we were all like, we called this again, but we were so proud of Zebre in the beginning of the tournament, and now they've just thrown all their progress away. So anything you guys want to add on that game?
Yeah, I do. At what point do we kick out Zebre and put in a team like the Cheetahs into the URC? Or any other team for that matter that could actually compete? Because Zebre beats the Sharks, and they even went on social media and said, and you guys wanted us out of the competition. Bah! And then they go and lose everything.
I would
else.
love it. It would make it more competitive. But the thing is, like, there's only two Italian teams. They're not going to get rid of one of the Italian teams to add another South African team. The only way the Cheetahs get in is if we have like a local relegation for it.
But then take out Zebra and put in what's that? Black Horse team.
Black Lions from Georgia, yes.
Lions from Georgia. Put them in.
Yeah.
Something that could be interesting is like almost that they have in like the Premier League when it comes to football or soccer, where they have like the Black Lions. They have like a little competition or playoffs and say, listen, the top two there, they play against the guy that ends first, he plays against the last in the URC, and the guy that ends second last, he plays against the team that ended second to last in the URC, and then that's two relegation games to keep yourself in the running. That would be very, very interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, it would be. And I think there needs to be, in rugby in general, I think there needs to be a way that if a team finishes second last or last, there needs to be a consequence where they can lose their position in the URC or whatever tournament they're in, because that will give opportunities for teams in lower leagues to be able to get up to the URC or other leagues. So I think that needs to happen, because I remember when the Lions had the situation and they had to play against the Kings, and the Kings actually won the 2 games where it was a promotion relegation game. So you never know, new teams could come up. and I think that needs to be implemented somewhere, somehow. But ladies and gents, thank you for listening to our rant session of a podcast. We really appreciate you guys for staying this long. If you have, please remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We will carry on bringing the content, and we are so grateful for everything you have done for us so far in sharing this pod, in subscribing, because we really do appreciate it. So thank you guys so much, and we will, or if you want to add anything, guys, but I'm going to head out. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, I just also want to add that once you've subscribed, next to it there's a little bell that gives you notifications every time we post, because we're quite consistent on posting, and then you'll get a notification and you can watch it at work. Lekker.
True story. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Cheers.